of a male with a self-inflicted gunshot wound. Callers advised negative signs of life.
The male possibly committed suicide, still has the pistol in his hand.
Every year, nearly 45,000 people in America die by suicide. That's over double the number of homicides. In the last 20 years, suicide rates in most Western countries have fallen, but in the US, they've gone up by nearly a third. And there's one particular group of Americans causing the spike in numbers: white, middle-aged men. I want to get behind the statistics and find out more about one of these men. I've come to Flathead Lake in western Montana, where kids are gathering for a summer camp. But they're not here just for a holiday. This is a camp for grieving children.
Nice to meet you, finally.
Oh, how are you doing?
It's nice to meet you.
Kids come to this camp honoring different types of losses. The most common type of loss is suicide at our camp.
So how many people are coming to the camp
We'll have
this year?
50 campers here,
Okay.
and 18 are grieving a death of a family member by suicide.
This is the third time that Jenny Laboon has brought her daughters Abby and Lily to stay here, and there's a reason why. People who lose someone to suicide are 3 times more likely to attempt it themselves.
So tell me what's going on here. What are you making?
We call them I think it's flags of remembrance.
And whose one is this?
Lily's.
It's yours, Lily. And who's Rick?
Our dad's.
That's your dad.
Yeah. Whenever I was 11, he committed suicide. So I come here and I process everything here.
So it's kind of like a place where you can sort of focus.
Yeah, it's a place where everybody understands what you're going through. You don't have to explain it. They just kind of know in their own way.
What was he like when you met him?
Well, he was teaching in the same high school that I was teaching. I think part of the reason I was so attracted to him because he was this really strong, powerful man, you know, but he was always a little emotionally standoffish.
Before they met, Rick had been in the army.
All right.
He joined straight out of high school and within months was deployed to a frontline hospital during the First Gulf War. He returned to build a life which looked happy and successful. But under the surface, Rick was struggling.
I came home and I noticed he was off. I reassured him. I held him. The next morning, he dropped Lily off at school. He sent me a text, said, "I love you so very much." And I know by the time of death that he sent me that text is the very last thing that he did. So I went to the house. I couldn't believe it. And I thought there was another gun there. And I thought, can I catch up? How fast does a soul travel? Can I please catch up and be with him?
I cannot imagine how that day must have been for you. I'm so sorry.
When unfortunately with suicide, everybody goes back to that day or the few days before and says, what could I have done? If I had any idea what he was going to do, I would not have gone to work. I would have lost my job. I would have done anything to keep him from doing that.
Part of learning to deal with grief involves the girls thinking about their dad and how they want to remember him.
What was he like as a dad?
He was the best dad.
Try catching it.
He was stern, but he was still fun and kind and just it's like a best friend.
When you found out that your dad had taken his life, can you remember?
Yeah.
You can go first.
I just said okay. I just kind of walked out.
You walked out?
Yep.
For me, it just kind of felt like I was being stabbed repeatedly in my stomach and my heart. It's a pain that you really just can't describe, that you don't feel twice. I'm still mad at him. When my grandma's up there, he's
gonna whip his booty.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Wherever they are, he's in for it from my grandma.
Why are you mad at him?
Because he left.
All right, you'll have a good time.
Yeah, he left with a lot of promises broken.
What were those promises?
That he'd never leave. That's the biggest one. And just little things like threatening my first boyfriend or walking me down the aisle or take me to my first school dance. Just things that your dad is supposed to do with you that he's never going to do with me.
There is no single reason for the growing suicide crisis amongst white middle-aged men in America. But what's clear from my time here in Montana is that people aren't talking enough. And that's one thing that this camp is trying to change.
It's okay to seek help. It's okay to have tough days. And when we do, it's okay to ask people that we feel like are hurting. Asking about suicide doesn't cause suicide.
Camps like this are rare, and coming here year after year has been truly life-changing for Jenny and her girls. And it's given them hope.
The three of us were sitting there with our feet in the water, and I looked at my two girls and I realized that life was going to be okay, that it could be good again, that we could have moments like this where we're at this incredible lake and we actually can have a lot of fun making a lot of new memories together.